The biggest Saudi oil field is fading faster than anyone guessed. It was a state secret and the source of a kingdom's riches. It was so important. Now the market finally knows Ghawar in Saudi Arabia, the world's largest conventional oil field, can produce a lot less than almost anyone believed. When Saudi Aramco on Monday, since its nationalization nearly 40 years ago, it also lifted the veil of secrecy around its mega oil fields. The Compass Bond, as Saudi's largest field, a surprisingly low production capacity figure from Ghawar, is the standout of the report, said Virendra Chauhan, head of upstream at Consultant Energy Aspects Limited in Singapore. The Energy Information Administration, a U.S. government body that provides statistical information and often is used as a benchmark by the oil market, listed at 5.8 million barrels a day in 2017. Aramco. In his book Twilight in the Desert, Simmons argued that Saudi Arabia would struggle to boost production due to the imminent depletion of Ghawar, among other factors. Field by field, the new details about Ghawar proved one of Simmons' points, but he missed other changes in technology that allowed Saudi Arabia and, more importantly, U.S. shale producers to boost output significantly, with global oil production yet to peak. The prospectus offered no information about why Ghawar can produce today a quarter less than 15 years ago, a significant reduction for any oil field. The report also, in response to a request for comment, Aramco referred back to the bond prospectus without elaborating. The new maximum production rate for Ghawar means that the Permian in the U.S., which pumped 4.1 million barrels a day last month according to government data, is already the largest oil production basin. The comparison is, Ghawar, which is about 174 miles long or about the distance from New York to Baltimore, is so important for Saudi Arabia because the field has accounted for more than half of the total cumulative crude oil production in the kingdom, according to the bond prospectus. The country has been on top of Ghawar, which was found in 1948 by an American geologist. Saudi Arabia relies heavily on two other mega fields, Quraysh, which was discovered in 1957, and can pump 1.45 million barrels a day, and Safaniya, found in 1951 and still today the world's largest offshore oil field with capacity of 1.3 million barrels a day. In total, flames burn off at an oil processing facility at Saudi Aramco's Shaiba oil field. The 470-page bond prospectus confirms that Saudi Aramco is able to pump a maximum of 12 million barrels a day, as Riyadh has said for several years. The kingdom has asked, while the prospectus confirmed the overall maximum production capacity, the split among fields is different to what the market had assumed. As a policy, the company also uses this spare capacity as an alternative supply option in case of unplanned production outages at any field and to maintain its production levels during routine field maintenance, Aramco said in its prospectus. For Aramco, that's a significant cost, as it has invested billions of dollars into facilities that aren't regularly used. However, the Aramco also disclosed reserves at its top 5 fields, revealing that some of them have shorter lifespans than previously thought. Ghawar, in total, the kingdom has 226 billion barrels of reserves, enough for another 52 years of production at the maximum capacity of 12 million barrels a day. The Saudis also told the world that their fields are aging better than expected, with low depletion rates of 1% to 2% per year, slower than the 5% decline some analysts suspected. Yet, it also said that some of its reserves, about a fifth of the total, had been drilled so systematically over nearly a century that more than 40% of their oil has been already extracted, a considerable figure for an industry that usually struggles to recover more than half the barrels in place underground.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.